Question: has accountability become a myth? That's the question. Has accountability become a myth in the human family? I recall again, I was coming up in Chicago when I was coming up in Chicago. And what I see even until this day is the inability for a lot of people to take accountability for what they've done and even for what they do. A whole lot of actions that are even premeditated by people today. They do not intend to take accountability for what they're getting ready to do. And this implies having no self-respect, having no respect for the person or people that they intend to do harm to, not only physically, but mentally, emotionally, and even spiritually. Why is it so difficult for a lot of people today to take accountability for what they say and do? I'm going to get back to what I was getting ready to talk about. When I was a kid, I was coming up in Chicago. And what I've noticed is that a lot of people around me and a lot of people that I used to observe never took accountability for what they would do to someone else. And this is one of the reasons why so many issues today are unresolved between those people. In terms of the system and how the white man created the system to go in opposition with the drives and the desires of Black people and other people. That has to also be one of the biggest accountabilities that people don't want to face. I made a video not too long ago, and I would say that this is a response to that video, but it's really not. This is a question video. Why is it so hard for people to take accountability for what they do to others and themselves? When I used to walk, and a lot of times it would be a lot of brothers standing on corners talking. And I would be off the side and I would listen to these conversations. And they would say, well, you know, the white man creates this system and, you know, I can't get a job and it's hard for me to get a job, you know, because I got a felon, you know what I'm saying? You know, and, you know, because the system is against me. So I had to go out and rob somebody. I had to go out, snatch purses. I have to do these things in order for me to survive. I used to go up in the barbershop, Ray's Barbershop in Chicago on 87th Street, Kings Drive. I used to sit in there, even when I didn't need a haircut. I used to just sit in there and listen to the conversations of a lot of the men in there. No one in there, I would have to say out of 7 brothers that was in there, only 1 or 2 people took accountability for what they do. And when I would see those guys would look very productive according to the way that they would dress. They had jobs. And even if they didn't have jobs, they were in the process of searching for jobs. And in their disappointment of not finding these jobs, they never once blame this white man for anything. See, because what it is about blaming someone else for your life, it's because it's just too easy to blame someone else. The ease of blaming someone else is extremely dangerous, if not non-productive. As I said before, everything is your conscious decision. Brother didn't have to go out and rob, cheat, and steal from anyone. He could have found some way to make his living journey a whole lot more pleasant. But when we standing on the corners all day, drinking, smoking, doing drugs, you wonder why your life is the way that it is. Your life is the way it is, not because of the white man. Your life is the way that it is because you won't apply yourself to make your life better than what it is. It's just that simple. I mean, it's not nothing deep. But what I'm starting to see even more so today is the increase of the lack of accountability. Now, it's easy to point your finger at someone else. And you know, like the elders used to tell us in Chicago, just remember that while you're pointing your finger at someone else, there's 3 fingers pointing back at you. And let's not forget, as I had explained in my previous video about Brother Malcolm, if you continue to watch that video, he did say, your times will never get better until you make them better. People say, well, why didn't you add that? Because that's not the part that I was focusing on. And why should I have to add that part? Shouldn't you already know that? That's the whole point. In our community, accountability is becoming a myth. It's becoming a myth. And that's all it is. It's becoming a myth. A lot of us want to point the finger at someone else. We want to point the finger at our parents. But it does get to the point to where you have to take responsibility for your life. And therefore you have to take responsibilities for the choices that you make for your life. It's that simple. Just because there's drugs in the community don't mean you have to use them. Just because that liquor store is on the corner doesn't mean that you have to walk in it and poison your body with alcohol simply because you're a little frustrated. Today, when the Creator gives you a day that they call tomorrow, which really never comes, but you do know that there's a day coming for, which is implied the new day. So you get a new start. But if you constantly take your current frustrations into the new day, that's going to contaminate your concentration, and that new day is going to go to waste. Has accountability become a myth to you? That's the question. Has accountability become a myth? Is it something that we cannot intellectually and responsibly activate inside of ourselves? Or are we going to continue to sit up and mope and complain and cry over something that is dead, which is the past. What I used to be amazed at is that standing there listening to the brothers talk, they could figure out the system and its effects to a T. One day I asked, well, if y'all can figure this thing out, and if you know exactly what this system is doing in terms of cause and effect, how come you cannot figure out a way to get out of it? How come you are not putting your heads together as a group of men and coming up with a solution between all of y'all in terms of putting your head together and creating a business in a group sense so that all of you can work together and pull yourselves out of what you feel has rejected you economically? So it's a lack of accountability and an unwillingness of being productive among yourselves. Productivity. Now people may say, well, you ain't better than nobody. I never implied that. I'm a writer. What I do, that's my gift. I'm utilizing my gift. So maybe if more of us will not allow frustration and anger to shut us down to the degree that we resent our own selves in terms of being productive, then just maybe we will get to the point to where each and every one of us can find out what our gifts are in this living journey and apply ourselves to utilize it so that we can become a system of ourselves within a broken system. Has accountability become a myth? Has accountability become a myth? Stop blaming the white man for your condition. If you are able to figure out how this white man's system is set up to prevent you from furthering your progress in it, if you can figure that out to a T, then at the same time, whether you realize it or not, your mind is being awakened to the degree that it should perceive, I have to do something for myself. What did Malcolm say? Your times will never get better until you make them better. Now, he said that to a crowd, but that is also to the individual. Your times will never get better until you make them better. Now, this was after he spoke what Elijah Muhammad told him to write down about this is the white man. The white man brings drugs into the community. The white man does this. The white man does that. But what did Malcolm come back and say? Your times will never get better until you make them better. Make them better. When you're making something, you're concentrating on something and you're making decisions. You're putting together ideas and solutions to the problems that you had before. And in the process, you're moving forward. And while you're moving forward, you're in a state of growth. And therefore, you're in a state of productivity. Stop blaming everyone else. It is time, and it's been time, for us as individuals and us as a community take accountability for what we're doing to ourselves. This whole white man rhetoric, get rid of it. Well, you saying that the rhetoric is not true? The rhetoric is true. It's true. This is his system. But what are you going to do? Are you going to continue to live within the intellectual realms of what you perceive from his system and just sit there and pout, feel sorry for yourself? Stand on corners like the brothers that I saw in Chicago. Everybody got a liquor bottle in their hand and everybody's half drunk, talking all that bullshit, talking about how I can't get a job because, the whole thing is, the whole system is against us. So why can't we have justice? Why don't you get justice for your damn self? Stop sitting around feeling sorry for the condition that he and you participated in putting yourself in. You're participating with him when you quit. You're participating in the intentions of his system when you give up on yourself because you get frustrated. We have to love ourselves to the degree that it inspires us to keep moving forward, whether individually or as a community. Me, I'm an individual because I will tell anyone, if you sit around and if you wait for our community to get themselves together, you're going to be waiting for the rest of your life and you're going to go to your grave unsuccessful. You know how they say that everything starts in a home? Think of this as the home. The type of unity that the Black community needs, it starts from individuals. If I have a good idea, and if I meet what they call like-minded people, and we keep coming together as a group, and we have enough brothers or sisters to collaborate together and to start an institution, and we put it in activity, and it starts to progress. If each and every one of us would do just that, things will get better. And then some of us can go and offer jobs to those people who have become frustrated and non-productive. You can get a whole lot of those brothers off the corner. You think they want to be there? They've been manipulated to think that that's exactly where they want to be. That's the danger of finding the comfort zone. And while you are in the process of self-destruction. And that's dangerous, to find a comfort zone in doing that which is destroying you, whether it's drinking, whether it's drugs, whether it's smoking. As innocent as smoking seems, you keep right on thinking that. You keep inhaling smoke into your body and blowing it out your nose like my Uncle Shorty used to do, who is no longer with us because he overdosed with drugs. Am I mocking my Uncle Shorty? Hell no. I love my Uncle Shorty, but I was disappointed in the way that he left this realm, because I looked up to him. That's why I was telling him, why are you doing that to yourself? So maybe if more of us will start asking our brothers and sisters, why are you doing that to yourself? That opens up the door for communication to where we can start listening to one another, so that we can encourage each other, hey, I understand what you've been through, bro. But hey, let's put our hands together to make your situation better. Hey man, my situation is cool. Let me try to help you come up to where I'm at. Let's help one another. Stop standing on them damn corners, talking nonsense. Stop going to them clubs, wasting time, sitting at bars, drinking yourselves to death. Everybody in the bar sitting up lying to each other. You ain't got time for that. And if you feel as though you have time for that, you can't blame no white man for your life. You take accountability for what you're doing with your time. And let us remember, what is most important is to understand that time is sacred. We don't know how much time we have left on this planet. And by us not knowing how much time we have left on this planet, we shouldn't waste any time, because we don't know how much of it we have left. Because time is sacred, because the Creator's time clock on each and every one of us is sacred. Is accountability a myth? I'm asking. I'm asking the community, and I'm asking you individually. Has accountability become a myth? Has it become a myth? You decide. You decide for yourself.